From that first cry, newborn babies are born into this world before they're ready. Compared to their animal counterparts, infant human brains and bodies are vastly underdeveloped, which is why we often refer to those first 3 months of life as the newborn period or the 4th trimester. Today, I'm going to share with you 8 easy ways to help your newborn baby learn, grow and thrive during their first few months of life. Hello everybody, my name is Sophie. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then welcome. I'm so pleased to have you. I make videos every week on everything to do with babies, baby play and baby life. If that sounds like your kind of thing, then please don't forget to subscribe so that you are notified when I put up a new video. Babies love faces. They're primed from birth to recognise and study the faces of those around them. Did you know that even though newborns are born with blurred, underdeveloped vision, they can recognise their parents' faces within the first few hours of their life? I think that is completely amazing. There have actually been numerous studies carried out that prove that babies prefer looking at the faces of the people closest to them, in particular their mums. As well as looking at our faces, babies are fascinated with looking at facial features in general. It's one of the things that helps them to begin to understand social interaction and emotion, and that's why your baby will really enjoy looking at your face. What you can do with your baby is spend time looking into their eyes and letting them study your face with theirs. They will enjoy watching you pull different silly facial expressions. You could even try sticking out your tongue, because your newborn baby will most likely try to mimic you and stick their tongue back out at you. While you're having this FaceTime, touch is really important, as well as the use of your voice. So by touching your baby's face, their hands, their skin, it not only makes them feel soothed and comforted, but it also encourages the neurons in their brains to fire rapidly, fueling brain growth and development. Another type of touch that is really beneficial for your baby is skin to skin. Now, you may have heard of skin to skin being used after your baby is born, but it can also be used throughout those first 3 months of their life and beyond to help foster strong bonds and emotional attachments. It's important for skin to skin between mum and baby, but babies also like to have skin to skin with their dads or anybody else in close contact with them too. Not only does it help them to form really strong attachment bonds, but it's actually amazing because it helps to regulate their breathing and their temperature, and it can even build up immunity to infection. Tickling and gentle touch is another great form of entertainment for your young baby, and they will really enjoy, as those weeks move on, feeling you gently tickle the palms of their hands, the soles of their feet, and even the tops of their heads. You can use your fingers to do this, or you could get a little scarf or a muslin and just gently rub it onto their skin so they can feel those different sensations. If you have a feather, you could even use that and just lightly touch their skin with the feather so that they can feel the movements. They will really enjoy it, and once they reach about 6 weeks old, you will start to see those first smiles, which will come as a great reward for all your hard work in entertaining them. One of the ways that our babies first learn to start to think about talking and speech and language development is through hearing us speak to them and speak to each other, and their brain will just take on and assimilate all that new language. And using lots of talk and language really does help rapid brain development for your baby. You can do that in lots of different ways, by just simply talking to your baby and narrating what you're doing. So from the simple things like, we're going to change your nappy now, let's get the new nappy out of the bag. Oh, this nappy's got an elephant on today, we'll take off your old one, let's get a wipe out. Oh, I hope it's not too cold. And just talking about what you're doing, narrating what you're doing. You may feel a little bit silly, but for your baby, that is a brilliant opportunity to hear your voice, to bond with you, and also to take on lots and lots of new language. When you do talk to your baby, experiment with changing the pitch and the volume of your voice by talking in a high-pitched voice and talking in a low-pitched voice. It may seem a little bit silly to us, but babies actually really love it. It helps their ears tune into the different sounds and it provides interest for them. As well as using a sing-songy voice when you talk, singing is another really great way to communicate with your baby. You don't have to sing baby songs or nursery rhymes, just sing to them your favourite songs and they will love to hear you. As your baby starts to grow, they will start to respond by making noises, cooing, gurgling and babbling noises, and you can respond to them by cooing and gurgling back to them. Some people think that it's detrimental to use baby talk, but actually there have been no studies that prove that it is detrimental to babies' language and brain development at all. In fact, some educationalists believe that it allows babies to feel valued and respected if you use their language, if you like, to communicate back to them. So as your babies coo at you or make little noises, you can respond by mimicking those noises back to your baby, leaving little pauses in between to allow them to communicate back to you and have a little conversation in their language. By making sure that you mix in proper words and vocabulary as well, you can really make sure that you're giving your baby an all-round brilliant language experience.
You going to show us some smiles? Isn't that funny? Are you my smiley boy?
When your baby is first born, they will see in scales of grey and their vision will be quite blurred. That lasts for around about the first week of life, and then your baby will start to see in colour. However, the things that they will be most interested in are high contrast colours and patterns. So colours like black and white and any patterns that use those stark contrasts will be really interesting to your baby, and as they look at them it will be helping their eyes to develop, to learn to focus, and also of course helping their brain to develop too. There are lots of different high contrast things that you can buy to help your baby, from books to high contrast pattern cards and even toys with high contrast patterns on, but you could just make your own using a marker pen and some paper and they will be just as interesting and effective for your baby. The first colours that your baby will start to see are reds and yellows, oranges and greens. Red and yellow are the most interesting colours to your baby when they first start to see colour, because those are the ones that they can distinguish between the most. Then they will start to see shades of orange and green, and finally only a few weeks after that will they start to see colours like blue and purple. So you can maybe think about this when you're giving your baby toys to play with or you're looking at different books or pictures. Another way that you can help your baby's eyes to develop is by laying them on their back or putting them in a bouncer chair and using an object to move it slowly from side to side and allowing them to track the movement. So by that I mean allowing their eyes to move and watch the object move in front of them. You need to make sure that you move the object quite slowly at first so that your baby learns to be able to track the movement. And bear in mind that when babies are first newborn, they can only see around about 30 centimetres in front of their own face. After that first month, this can extend up to 75 centimetres or even halfway across a room. It does depend on your own baby's eyes, so you can experiment with holding the toy or the object at different distances and seeing where your baby can see. The other thing you can do, as well as moving the object side to side and up and down, is to actually pull it away and then push it towards your baby's face, obviously not touching their face, but as you pull it away from them or hold it up in the air and then slowly back down onto baby, it will really help their eyes to begin to be able to focus in on the object as they're moving. Think of it like a camera lens. Your baby's eyes work in the same way and they really have to learn to focus in on objects as they move in and out from their face. For the first few months of life, your baby's core and their neck strength are quite weak. However, there are lots of things that you can do to help strengthen that, to enable them to start being able to support their head by themselves and eventually, of course, hold themselves up in preparation for sitting. If you want to learn more about tummy time, then do click on this video here. I will link it down in the description below for you as well, where I talk about lots and lots of different ways that you can do tummy time with your baby, whether they are 0 to 3 months or even older. Gentle lap rhymes are also a really great way of developing your baby's core strength. You can start off by leaning your baby gently on your legs and then rocking them side to side or bouncing them up and down, and as their core gets a little bit stronger, you can start to sit and hold them. You can support the back of their head using your fingers like this, and then you can hold them as they bounce up and down. Some of our favourite rhymes for this are row, row, row your boat, or the Grand Old Duke of York. That gentle movement, and you don't have to bounce them hard or rock them hard, will really help to strengthen their core, and your babies will enjoy the feeling of moving around as well. If your baby is in that newborn phase between 0 to 3 months and you are thinking about routines, or you would like to compare your daily routine with that of another newborn mum, then click on this video here where I go into detail on our newborn routine. This video is one in a series, and I will have the playlist linked down below for you for each month of your baby's life and the activities that you can do to help them develop. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss those upcoming videos.